Hi there. Welcome to my channel. As you probably know already, I only talk about damaged hair. We need a place where you can talk about your damaged hair. We need a place where people will listen, or someone will listen, and not just someone, but someone who can give you answers. Personal hair damage is just that. It's personal. So we really, really need to sit down and learn how hair lives. Learn healthy hair habits and understand that hair wellness is important. I see people on Instagram, and they're crying about their hair. Either it's a salon they went to, not saying the salon was bad, maybe it was. I'm not arguing either point, but still, they're not getting their hair answers. And so maybe they're not answering the questions that they need to ask. So if you have damaged hair, how do you know what questions to have? All you know is complaint. My hair is doing this, my hair is doing that. Mainly because, remember, we gather damaged hair in layers, and we live with that damaged hair for so long, thinking that our hair isn't damaged. Then when it comes to damage, we're like, oh my God, what happened? Similar to your health, same thing happens. You sit there and you're eating well and you're doing good, but you still end up sick. So it happens. And I think you need a place to go to get back on track, to learn how to value product, as well as how not to improperly use it. A lot of times, we get into damaged hair and we really overuse or misuse or not use our product properly. And so we're not getting the best out of our product that we paid so much money for. So it's good to be able to say, I know that I'm making a good decision for my hair and have science and education to back it. When you look at scientific conditioning, you also look at, how your hair gets damaged and the layers it creates. Then you understand how to treat the cause of the problem and not the symptoms, because that's usually what happens. And it's to the hair company's benefit that we chase the symptoms. So let's stop chasing symptoms, and I hope my channel will be here for you to help you grow in your hair wellness so that you have better understanding of not only how to protect your hair, but how your hair lives and to be able to relate to it when it gets sick. So I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for sharing your hair problems with me. And I hope that my information of over 30 years can help you do better with hair wellness and also have peace of mind. It's all about not stressing and worrying about our hair. And we tend to cry over the same problems over and over, and we don't get answers. So let's try to give damaged hair a voice by pushing a like button and showing that this information is needed. If you don't have damaged hair or think you have damaged hair, you probably know someone that think they do. So please give them my channel, and hopefully we can help them. And the more we get this channel out and to others, the more we can help the people that are at home and they don't have options. They don't have the fake hair option. They don't have anything as far as tools to work with to start getting their hair back. So let's think about that and think about damaged hair having a voice. And I hope my channel helps. That's why I'm here. I'm basically disabled, and I'm spending time, at least 15, 20 minutes. I don't think I ever go over 25, to help you and see if you want the information. I believe you do. I had 3 salons, and they were all full of damaged hair clients, and they were very happy and relieved to have answers to hair wellness. I'm sure they would want you to have my old clientele. I'm sure they would want you to have answers too. So maybe we can reach out and spread the word. Damaged hair needs to be conquered. We need to start controlling hair wellness. Thank you for coming today. I would like you to now, well, I'm trying to think how I want to start. I think there's no other way to start other than the children. Children's hair gets sick too, and they're in the need of hair wellness. A lot of times we do our hair and we treat the kids' hair the same way. So they have layers of damage as well. And when you start kids going into damage uh, before they're in their teens, then of course when they're in their teens they have less hair wellness. So I am definitely interested in the children. I also help children. I have a children's clientele, and they would get conditioners. Yeah, they would get deep heat conditioners. Everyone needs them. And so they would have to have their hair brushed. And then, of course, they would have to learn to continue these good habits as they go into adulthood. So children's hair, you'd think, well, it doesn't get damaged because they're so young and healthy, but it does. And if you have a child with damaged hair, you know what I'm talking about. And you want to help your child. You don't want to sit there and watch the child's hair go bad. So you want to do the deep conditioning and stay on a good routine with the baby as well. Children need hair brushing. They need proper washing. They need hairstyles that are going to cater to the brushing. For instance, if the hair is in braids, then brushing may not be an option, and the scalp really needs the brushing for more than one reason. And we've talked about brushing. So kids are just as important as grown-ups. And when they get sick and they're on medication or they go through surgery, their hair takes time to recuperate. So if you're not noticing the layers of damage that's developing in the kids, I'm always doing that, talking so fast. I love talking about this, and I get tongue-tied. Maybe I need some water. Mm. But what I'm saying is that kids, you might think that, oh, they're healthy enough to go to surgery. No, they need to be conditioned before surgery, after surgery, and they, of course, need healthy hair wellness. So this is noticing their hair, observing it, because you're the one that has to know when the hair is dry or when it's brittle. And you probably know that, but you probably feel very inadequate at taking care of it. If the hair gets into damage, you're thinking to yourself, what do I do? What do I do? I'm using the best of products. However, treating the symptoms and not the cause. So knowing your product and knowing that hairstyles, they sometimes call them uh, protective hairstyles, but they're not protective, because if you cannot brush, it's not a protective hairstyle, in my opinion. Okay? The reason why I believe that is because kids that have come in with braids, they don't have the proper combing, brushing, and shampooing. And so therefore they don't get the deep conditioning. So they're in just as much damage as the parent. However, it might take a little bit longer to show it because they're not on medication, or maybe they are. There's kids that have to have medication at an early age. So here again, if they're not on medication, they have better chances of surviving the hair braids. I think it's a very beautiful look, so please don't feel as if I'm being biased on braiding hair. It's just that in my field, and what I do is specialize in damaged hair. So styles that deteriorate, I have to acknowledge that, and I have to scientifically say, this is not going to work. If you cannot deep condition and you cannot brush and you're not properly shampooing, then there's an issue. A lot of times people shampoo too much, and I think to myself, that's bad. You've got to keep an even balance with it. So even when it comes to children, their hair is a little different in the sense of how it gets dirty. Their hair is different because they're still maturing and growing. So in that sense, their hair is changing. So as they get to be a teenager, they're going to have a whole new different head of hair. But I had a kid's clientele, and let me tell you, they needed the conditioning, and some of them really had serious problems. They can have eczema with the scalp. They can have stress problems. We don't think our kids go through stress, but they do. They go through stress like everybody else, and sometimes it shows up in their hair. Some people don't suffer stress in their hair. They suffer it in their stomach, maybe their shoulders. Okay, children the same. So if a kid has been at school all day and he's thinking all day and he's got what you call a very heavy schedule at school, Then he turns around and has to come home, or sometimes have to go to daycare or after school programs. And of course, if they're involved in a sport, and then not to mention there's issues at home. Not that it's a upset family. I'm just saying that sometimes family has issues. And that can stress a kid out. Sometimes kids stress out and they don't have any issues. So, I want you to acknowledge that children are just as sensitive and just as important to condition and stay on a routine, and of course to train them or to teach them. I like to say teach them to care for their hair, knowing that they have to grow up with deep conditioning, with brushing. And that gives them more guidance when they're out there trying to get their hair done, right? When they're picking out product. So this can really go through generations if you allow the hair wellness to take hold and get rid of more of the toxic hair habits. And in doing so, that's going to take a routine conditioning. It's going to take the brushing. It's going to take you maybe jotting down on the calendar. I brushed her hair today, and today it had more breakage. So you're going to watch your kid improve and progress, and you have to be patient. A lot of times we think, oh, I want my kid to look like this and with this outfit. And now kids are on YouTube. So they want their hair, perfect. And here again, we have to understand that even kids have hair problems. And in my chair, when I used to own a beauty salon, yes, it was definitely a kid's clientele. And I remember a case where the kid had an ulcer, and it was causing stress problems with their hair. They didn't even know it. And who knew? Why would you think a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid would have an ulcer? But it is strictly a physical issue. The family was a beautiful family. The kid was not being tortured or anything. But here again, kids can stress out about numerous things. They're little people, little grown-ups. So they might get stressed out about something that you're entirely like, why are you worried about that? But the kid is, and it could show in their hair. And like I said, just like grown-ups, some grown-ups show it stress in different areas of their body, kids do too. And sometimes that can be their hair. So if you have a kid that's in trouble and having issues, stop all the hairstyles and try to concentrate on hairstyles that are going to allow you to brush and deep condition, so that when the hair gets dry, you know it immediately. And you have to remember this too. With fake hair, sometimes all of it is treated. And when I say sometimes, when you look at fake hair, it is chemically treated, so it does have little razor blades. It can cut the natural hair. And that's something that, that's not very discussed very often. But I remember reading about it. And so the fake hair can be damaging to the regular hair, and so or the real hair, and that's just because it has to be chemically treated so that it will survive, sanitation. So now we're looking at the kid wearing it, and of course not getting the deep conditioning, not getting the shampoo at least every 2 weeks. Shampooing minimum every week is good. But, I always suggest to my clients to rinse. And so you can rinse your hair squeaky clean. So it doesn't, you'll feel good and clean behind it. But I think we're so used to shampooing, and maybe the hair companies like that. Because the more you shampoo, the more you use the shampoo, and then of course you have to rebuy it. So I wonder if that's not a rut that we've gotten into. Not necessarily thinking that the company set you up for that, but it's just something to commonly get into a rut with, is to shampoo too often. But then people don't shampoo enough, and then they go a month, and that's not good. But at least minimum every 2 weeks, minimum a shampoo every 14 days. Now I suggest always every 7 days, and I always suggest a more conditioning shampoo, so that it will condition your hair and not just strip it clean, unless you've got something else going on and you need a clarifying shampoo. But normally we want a shampoo that's going to be very relaxing and of course conditioning. So my point is this: if you cannot get that in there, then that style is not so much of a protective style, is it? You need to be able to address the hair issues. And if you can't see your hair, you can't address the issues. So when it comes to your child, if you want to address the the layers of damage and deal with the cause, then you're going to have to get in there and watch that hair and look at that hair and brush it and keep it in a moisturizing state, and also keep, of course, the protein up. So hair wellness is great for kids too. Please understand that it's not just for teenagers. It's also for kids under, I think my earliest client, I think I had a client as early as 2 years old. And that's because the cradle, what is it? The cradle, I call it cradle crowd, but it's flakes in the scalp. As the kid gets older, the scalp changes and it sort of flakes off. Well, hers didn't stop. So we realized that she had a dryness problem going on, and so we, helped take care of that problem. So what I'm saying is that children get in trouble too. You need to stay disciplined, observant, and also have a routine with them as well. And understand that hair wellness is for them too, not just for grown-ups and teenagers. I want to thank you for coming to my channel. I want to thank you for staying. And thank you for pushing the like button, and really thank you if you left a comment. I try to post every Friday. I am here not being sponsored by anyone. I'm here totally because of you. I would like to help you have hair wellness. And there is a repetitious cycle right now that we have gotten into as humans or a nation or all over the world. We have damaged hair. Now we're getting into the chronic damaged hair, and we're having more damaged hair than we have healthy hair. So maybe that's why all the fake hair is real long, because really we're secretly crying to have long hair. We love our hair, and all down through history, we've learned that wigs are fun. Wigs are, definitely set an impression. So we're not talking about wigs or downing wigs. I like wigs, used to wear them. However, when you're trying to achieve hair wellness, you should be able to have that choice. Not having that choice is not fair. You should have a place where you can go and get get your scalp healed and your hair balanced, and get knowledge on how to treat the cause of your problems and not just treat the symptoms. So I would love to see you here again next week. I hope we can talk about more and get a better understanding of hair wellness. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and better yet, have a better hair day. Thank you.